Watch knees open nice and wide, reaching our arms out in front of us, letting head, chest, chin come to the ground, trying to relax into this pose as much as we can. Slowing down, quieting down. We'll actively press into our hands to try to send our hips back a little bit closer to our heels. And then relax again. And then tenting your fingers up, walk your hands a little bit closer. We're going to thread the needle so our left palm can stay on the ground. Our right arm is going to try to slide underneath that left arm, right shoulder to the ground. Threading the needle in child's pose is probably not going to be as deep of a twist as we get on all fours. Just kind of working into that side bend, side twist. And pressing into the left hand, we'll pull the right arm out and do that on the other side. So right palm on the ground, left hand underneath the right arm. Thread the needle to the other side. Pressing into the right hand, we'll come back up to regular child's pose. From here, we're going to walk both hands over to the left side of our space, kind of a side bendy child's pose. Breathing into our right side body here. And then walking our hands through the middle over to the right side of our space. Side bend to the opposite side. And back to the middle, we'll bring ourselves up to tabletop, all fours, gathering our knees underneath us. Cat-cow time, drop the belly down, gaze up to the ceiling, reversing it, doming our back, gazing back towards our pelvis, back and forth, I don't know, 5 times? 4 times, whatever feels good. And then coming to a flat back, our left hand will stay on the ground, our right arm will reach up to the ceiling, and then thread the needle in tabletop so our right fingertips go behind our left wrist, right shoulder to the ground. Sometimes our butts want to curve over to the left side, so thinking about keeping the twist in our upper back by sending our tailbone back equally between our heels. Maybe even feeling like you're wagging your butt to the right side just a little bit. Nice. And pressing into the left hand, we'll pull the right arm out from underneath us, back to tabletop, all fours. Right palm on the earth, left arm up into the sky. Thread the needle to the opposite direction, opposite shoulder to the ground, left shoulder, oof. Again, thinking about sending our butt straight back behind us. Nice. Pressing into our right palm, we'll come back up to tabletop, all fours, heading to puppy dog. Our hips will stay high over our knees. Our hands will walk out in front of us, far enough that maybe our elbows come to the ground, maybe our chin or forehead or chest even. Sway back here. And we'll come to a side bend puppy dog. So pressing into your palms until you've got a little lift in your shoulders and elbows. We'll walk our hands over to the left side of our space. Little side bend puppy dog. And then walking hands through center, side bend puppy dog to the other side, over to the right side of our space. And then back to center, we'll walk our hands back underneath our shoulders, coming to tabletop. Let's pick up our left leg and stick it out behind us. We'll bring our left toes to the earth and press into those left toes, sending that heel back farther behind you, coming for a stretch in our left calf. Maybe rocking back and forth a little bit. And then with our left knee, we're gonna make some big circles in the air, sort of like a fire hydrant. So we're just circling our left knee around, underneath us, out to the side, wherever we can, wiggling around that hip socket. Nice. Maybe switch the direction of our circle. And then extend that left leg straight back behind us. We'll cross it outside of our right heel. Look over your right shoulder at it, squeezing our right side. And then picking it up, we're gonna send it all the way over to the left side of our space, as close as possible as we can get anyway. Left leg out to the left side of our space. Then we're gonna send our butt back to come into child's pose with our left leg extended. Might be a little bit higher off the ground than your regular child's pose. And then lifting our butt up, bringing our weight back to your hands. So we're on our three-legged table with our left leg out to the side. We're gonna keep our weight in our left hand and try to thread the needle again. So our right fingertips reach out underneath us towards those left toes. If you don't like the extended leg, you can bring it back in for thread the needle. Just a slightly different variation. Nice. And pressing into the left hand, we'll pull that right arm out from underneath us. We'll bring our left leg back underneath us, so we're in tabletop again, all fours. Side to side variation of cat-cow now, called marauding bear. We'll squeeze right side body and then left side body together. Lovely. Oh. And then coming to our neutral tabletop again, we'll pick up our right leg this time, send it out behind us, curling those right toes under, bringing them to the earth, pressing our right heel back, stretching out our right calf, maybe rocking gently back and forth, or finding stillness, pushing out through that right heel. And then picking up the right leg with that right knee, we'll draw some great big circles in the air. One direction. And then switching directions of our right knee circles. Extending the right leg long back behind us. We'll cross it outside the left heel. Looking over our left shoulder at it. Squeezing left side body. Whew. And then picking up that right leg, swinging it all the way out to the right side of our space. We'll sit our butt back towards our heels for a child's pose variation with the right leg extended. Oof. And rising up to our three-legged table, our right palm will stay on the earth and our left fingertips will slide behind that right wrist for a threaded needle with the right leg extended. Ugh. Pushing into the right palm, we'll come back to tabletop, all fours. From here, we're gonna tuck our toes under, lifting our butt high, downward facing dog, or some gentle upside down V, pedaling one heel and then the other towards the ground. Super slowly, we'll walk our feet to our hands or our hands to our feet, coming to a hanging forward fold. So our head hangs nice and heavy. Our arms can dangle here or grab opposite elbow. Soft bend in our knees. Rocking our weight gently to the right side of our feet and then the left side of our feet. Sending our weight into our heels. And then sending our weight into the balls of our toes, feeling how that changes the stretch in the back of our legs. Bending our knees enough until our right palm can come to the ground in front of our big toes. Our left arm is going to reach up into the air for a side twist. Maybe your left leg can come towards straight, or it can stay bent here. And then bending both knees if they're straightened, bringing the left hand to the ground between your big toes. Right arm up into the air this time. Maybe right arm comes towards straight. Right leg. Nice. And bending both knees again until our hands can come to the earth. We'll walk ourselves out to a downward facing dog again. Pedaling our heels. We'll raise up onto all 10 tippy toes, heels high into the air, and then pushing the heels towards the ground behind us. Again, raising up onto our tippy toes, we'll send our heels this time over to the left side of our space and down towards the ground. Kind of come into like tightrope walker feet in a line. And then raising our heels up into the air, tippy toe downward facing dog, heels over to the opposite side of our space and down. One more time, heels up to center. And this time we'll bring our knees to the ground. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna come sit on our heels, so we'll come to kneeling. If kneeling's the worst for you, you can certainly sit cross-legged or stick a pillow under your butt. Let's do some shoulder circles here. Up, back, and down. And interlace fingers, press your palms away. Separating your shoulder blades from each other as we gaze down. Releasing that, we'll come to upright. Our left hand's gonna grab our right knee as we spin over our right shoulder. And then opposite, our right hand will grab our left knee, looking over our left shoulder. So good. And back to center. We're gonna come to a half kneeling. So I'm gonna send my weight onto my left side and pull my right foot out so I can stand on my right foot and come to this sort of, yeah, there we go. And then we'll work on our ankle flexion, which helps with our squats and stuff. So we're gonna put our hands on our right thigh and send our weight forward into it. So my butt even comes off my heels in the back, and I'm really trying to send this knee forward over my toes. Feeling the crunch, little tightening in the front of my ankle, and then sending my heel down towards the ground so that I feel that stretch in my calf here. You can play with wiggling that knee gently side to side here too. Okay, we can come to upright. We're gonna look over our right shoulder again. We could hug our left knee if that helps, or even bring your arm to the inside of, or outside of your left knee. I don't know what's that called. And then twisting back to the center, we're gonna forward fold over our left leg. Pretzel time today. So maybe bringing your hands to the ground in front of you, just like a different variation of a forward fold. Might feel some stuff in our one hip socket or the other here. Oof. Okay, bring ourselves to upright again. We're gonna do a quad stretch for the left side. So our hands will come to the ground behind us. Yeah, any amount. I like to kind of pick my butt up and then set it back down so I'm tucking my tailbone under. Feeling stuff in this left quad that's on the ground. If you've got lots of room, you could walk your hands farther back or come to your elbows behind you, or stay upright, wherever you're feeling stuff. My foot usually falls asleep when I do this for a bit, but that's okay. All right, we'll come to kneeling, however you want to get there. If you want to like fall on out and roll over, that's cool. Or you can be more graceful. Ugh. Back to kneeling. Let's do some head side to sides here. And then some gentle neck circles. One direction and then the other. Oh. Sitting up nice and tall with our shoulders, we'll bring our chin to our chest or close to it. You can interlace your hands behind your head for a little extra weight if you like. Stretching out our neck here. Cool. And our head back to upright, we will do that leg stuff on the other side. So weight over to the right side until you can bring your left leg out. Oh, feels nice to open it up for a second. Stand that left foot on the earth. And then we'll start with our hands on the left thigh, pushing it forward. Trying to drive that left heel into the ground as you drive the left knee forward. For stretching the left calf, possibly front of the left ankle. Maybe playing with wiggling that knee side to side here if that feels good. Or finding stillness. Sometimes people get really worried about knees over toes. That is not a thing to worry about. If we have control in our movement, you're not going to get injured here unless you feel sharp pain in your knee. But anything you do that feels like sharp pain in your knee, you should just not do. So, real talk. Okay. We can sit back upright. We're going to look over our left shoulder, maybe hugging that right knee to see behind us, or bringing our right elbow. It's the left knee. You know what I mean. We're looking over our left shoulder, however you can get there. A little twist. And then coming back to forward, we'll bring our torso inside of our left knee, forward folding over the right thigh. Yeah. And walking ourselves to upright, we'll come to the quad stretch. So bring our hands behind us, maybe tucking our tailbone underneath, maybe lowering to our elbows, or staying upright. Okay, we'll come to tabletop as our out of this pose. So flopping on over wherever you want. From tabletop, curling your toes under, hips up high, downward facing dog, stretching out those knees. They've been crunched up, maybe pedaling one heel and the other to the ground, or both heels down, opening up those knees as much as we can. Inhaling forward to the high push-up position, we'll lower all the way down to our bellies, untuck our toes, tops of our feet onto the earth, sliding our forearms to the ground in front of us, Sphinx pose. Shoulders go up towards your ears and then back down our spine, finding as much lift and lengthen in our neck as we can. Distance between our ears and shoulders, pushing into our elbows to stand up nice and tall. I don't know if it's standing, whatever the verb is. Flipping fish is next. Weird name. So we're gonna bring our palms stacked and then our forehead onto the back of our hand. From here, our left knee is gonna slide up along the floor beside us until our left knee is maybe at waist height or even higher. And then our left elbow, well, our hands all together, but leading with the left elbow, it's going to slide over to the left side. Maybe our left knee and elbow come to touch with our head resting on our back of our hand. It's kind of a half of a frog. I don't know. It like squeezes the left side body while letting gravity do a lot of the work. And sending our left leg long behind us, we'll bring our torso back to neutral. We'll head to the other side. If you'd like to stack the opposite hand on top, you certainly could. Then our right knee is going to slide up along the ground beside us, maybe to waist height, maybe higher and not quite that high. And then our torso will bend over to the right side, right elbow coming towards the right knee, squeezing that right side of our body together. Sending our right leg long behind us, we'll bring our torso back to neutral. Or open scorpion is next. So our right arm will go straight up to the right side of our body. Our left hand can be underneath our left shoulder to help push us over onto the right side body. Maybe that top leg flops up and over behind us. Maybe your left arm reaches up and over behind you. Maybe not quite. onto our belly. We'll switch to the opposite side. So the left arm will go out like a T, right palm underneath our right shoulder, pushing into it, rolling over to open scorpion on the opposite side. Nice. Rolling onto our belly again. Bringing our hands underneath our shoulders, pushing ourselves up to tabletop, all fours, walking our knees underneath our hips. Up next is King Frog, everyone's favorite. So our knees will walk out to the side, couple inches more until we can maybe turn our feet out, inside edge of our feet against the ground. You can think about sending your butt back towards your heels to deepen the stretch. Maybe come down to our forearms or our belly, sending your knees out farther to the sides to deepen it even more, or walking your torso forward away from your feet to make it a little less intense. Staying here just a little bit longer than we want to. Exiting by walking our torso forward enough that we can bring our legs together behind us, or falling out, however works for you. Up next, we'll meet on our back, taking our time, flopping on over. Woof. Once we get there, soles of the feet on the earth, knees pointing up to the sky. We can toe heel our feet wider than our hips, nice and wide stance with our feet. And then we'll windshield wiper both knees to one side of our space, gently through the middle to the other, back and forth. A couple times here. The next time both knees are over to the right side of our space, we'll hang out there a little bit longer. If you like picking up the right ankle and putting it on the outside of the left knee for a little extra tug, you can. Maybe looking over your left shoulder. If your foot's crossed, letting it fall to the floor, we'll bring both knees up through center and then over to the opposite side of our space. Both knees to the left side, possibly picking up the left foot and putting it outside the right knee, or not. Maybe looking over the right shoulder, or not. If our ankles crossed, letting that foot fall to the ground, and then standing both feet onto the earth, knees up to the sky, walking our heels in closer, we'll grab our knees, hugging them into our chest, rock gently side to side in a little cannonball. And then opening our knees wide, arms can go between the knees, grabbing the shins, the ankles, the feet for happy baby, rocking gently side to side here. Maybe tugging down on our legs to bring our knees a little bit closer to our armpits or the floor. Nice. Whew. And anything else that calls to you, feel free to do that. Otherwise, we'll make our way to our final rest pose for the class. Extending our legs long, tucking shoulder blades underneath us, finding stillness with our body. Option to always do this on our side or belly or with our feet on the ground, whatever works best for you. Just finding a place where you don't have to try very hard and can just have a little bit of stillness in your body. Bringing our attention to our breath, watching the inhales and exhales. Usually just paying attention to them is enough to make them slow down a little bit more. Feeling your inhales fill your chest, your belly, and your rib cage and belly fall as you exhale. Bringing movement back to our body by wiggling our fingers and toes. Gently nodding head side to side. As you're ready, curling over into a fetal position on one side. Few more slow, gentle inhales and exhales here. Using the strength strength of your arms. We'll push ourselves up to upright. The end.